sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into a story that's been everywhere.
Yeah, it's been unavoidable.
Kanye West and his talent agency.
33 and West.
Yeah, 33 and West.
Mm-hmm.
Our source for this deep dive is a People magazine article
Hot off the press.
from February 11th, 2025. Kanye's always in the news right there.
It seems like it.
But this time, it's not really about his music.
It's more about what he's been saying and the consequences.
Exactly.
It's different this time. This has moved beyond the typical celebrity controversy thing.
Right. Everybody's trying to figure out where the line is.
Yeah, where's the line?
What happened? So let's get into it. The big news is that 33 and West,
Kanye's agency.
his agency,
Yeah, dropped him. Dropped him like a hot potato.
effective immediately.
Which is unusual.
And they announced it on Instagram.
Yeah, that's the thing that's really strange. You don't often see agency announcements playing out in public like that.
Right.
On social media.
Right.
But it also kind of makes sense because these platforms...
It's like they knew it would go viral. Exactly. They can completely control the message because
It's instant.
it's public. It's a very carefully crafted statement.
So what led to this?
Well, on February 6th, Kanye went on X.
Formerly Twitter.
Yeah, formerly Twitter.
He went on a rant.
Filled with anti-Semitic slurs.
This wasn't just an online argument.
No. We're not talking about like a difference of opinion here.
It was intense.
He praised Hitler.
Oh, wow.
Defended Sean Diddy Combs.
Who, as you know, is currently behind bars
Awaiting trial.
for federal sex crimes.
And then made sweeping statements.
Yeah, about Jewish people.
Really disturbing.
I read the transcript. I was like,
Hard to believe.
I couldn't believe it, what I was seeing. He even said that anti-Semitism is bulls made up by Jewish people.
And refused to apologize for any of it. Everything he said in the past.
All the anti-Semitic things.
And it makes you think. Because he still has such a massive platform. Millions and millions of followers.
His words have weight.
They carry weight. They can influence how people think.
Especially when it's hate speech like this.
About entire groups of people.
It's that old saying about yelling fire in a crowded theater.
Exactly.
Only this time it's hate speech.
It's hate speech.
So dangerous.
Yeah.
Irresponsible.
And while there will be professional consequences for him,
Yeah.
the potential damage of this goes way beyond that. This kind of rhetoric, it tears at the fabric of society, leads to an uptick in prejudice and discrimination.
What about X itself? Elon Musk, who owns it, did respond to Kanye's rant.
Yeah.
He called the "everyone is Hitler" attack tired.
Interesting that he chose to focus on that particular aspect of it.
What did you make of that?
Well, to some people, it might seem like he's downplaying the seriousness of the overall anti-Semitic content.
Right.
And it really brings up this whole debate about how X
And platforms like it?
handles hate speech.
Oh.
The role of the owners.
Yeah.
And all of that.
As of February 10th, Kanye's X account has been deactivated. We don't know if it was him or the platform.
And we also know this isn't his first ban. Back in 2022, he got kicked off for talking about going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. It seems like a pattern.
Yeah. Outrage, temporary consequences.
And then right back to the same behavior.
Frustrating. This time it does seem a lot more serious.
Right.
It's not just a ban from social media. He's lost his agency.
He's lost those lucrative brand deals.
Adidas, Balenciaga, Gap.
Gone.
They've all cut ties. These are not slaps on the wrist.
Huge financial hit.
Major financial hit. It really sends a message.
And there are real-world consequences to this kind of speech.
But it also makes you wonder, at what point does someone like Kanye take responsibility?
When does genuine change happen?
It's the big question. Speaking of warning signs, rewind a bit. 2025 Grammys.
Oh, yeah?
Kanye made a surprise appearance.
He did.
He wasn't kicked out, but didn't have an assigned seat. I'm curious if that played any role in 33 and West's decision to drop him.
Or if you think about the timeline that Grammy's appearance happened before his latest rant on X.
Oh.
So it's possible the agency was already a little concerned. And this latest incident was just the last straw. Pushed them to take action. It's possible. It was a sign of things to come.
Like a preview?
Maybe. But dropping a client like Kanye, especially someone as high profile as him, that's huge.
Yeah.
For an agency, you know they don't do that lightly.
Right. They're in the business of making money.
Making money for their clients.
For themselves.
And Kanye,
Despite all this.
he was still a cash cow. So for them to sever ties.
To cut him off like this.
Yeah. It really shows how serious it is. They're saying we can't be associated with this anymore.
Even if it costs us.
Even if it costs us.
It's a huge gamble for them. But it makes you think about standard talent agency contracts. Are there clauses specifically for this kind of situation?
Where a client's behavior becomes too toxic?
Yeah.
Most contracts have these things called morality clauses. They give agencies the right to terminate if the client does something that reflects negatively on them.
Hurts their reputation.
Exactly. But how those clauses are worded
And enforced.
can vary wildly.
So it's a gray area. It makes you wonder what the conversations were like behind the scenes. Were there attempts to reason with Kanye?
To get him to dial it back.
Or was it just like, that's it, we're done?
I don't know. Hard to say without being a fly on the wall.
Right.
But I imagine there were some tense discussions happening.
Yeah.
Agencies don't want to lose clients, especially someone as profitable as Kanye. But they have to protect their own interests.
Their reputation.
It's a delicate balancing act.
And in this case, it seems like the scales tip towards we got to cut ties. Probably for the best.
Yeah, probably.
But it's bigger than just Kanye and his agency. This is sparking a much broader conversation about platforms like X and hate speech.
Absolutely. It boils down to this. How much power should these platforms have over what people say online?
That's the question.
It's a thorny issue. You have the argument for free speech
The right to express yourself.
without censorship,
But then you have
the potential for harm.
when those expressions incite violence or spread hate.
And when you have someone with millions of followers like Kanye spouting hate, it normalizes it.
Especially for younger fans. More impressionable.
Scary thought.
It's like a ripple effect.
The hate just spreads outwards,
Yeah.
and it can have a real impact on people's lives.
And it's not just about Kanye.
Right. It's a problem with celebrity culture in general. When you have that massive following, your words have power
It's a responsibility.
that a lot of celebrities don't take seriously.
But there's also that argument that silencing someone like Kanye just fuels his fire.
Right. Makes him a martyr.
For free speech.
It's true. There's definitely that risk.
That censorship can backfire, make him seem more sympathetic to people who already agree with him.
Drive the conversation underground, where it's harder to monitor.
Harder to counter. So what's the solution? How do you balance free speech with protecting people from hate speech?
Tough question. No easy answers.
Yeah.
It's going to require a multi-pronged approach. Part of it is about holding platforms accountable,
For the content they allow.
but without resorting to just blanket censorship.
Right. It's a
Creating mechanisms
Right.
for flagging, removing hate speech, but allowing legitimate debate to continue.
What about education? Can we teach people to be more critical of what they see?
Absolutely. Media literacy is crucial,
Yeah.
especially for younger generations. You know, they're growing up immersed in this, the digital world. We need to give them the tools to figure out what's real and what's not, to recognize bias, to see the persuasive techniques being used online.
Like a whole new set of skills just to navigate the internet.
Exactly.
Back to Kanye. What do you think the long-term consequences will be for him? He's lost his agency brand deals, access to major platforms. Is this the end of Kanye West?
It's a pivotal moment for sure. This backlash, the isolation. He hasn't experienced this before. And it's all happening at a time when his behavior is becoming increasingly erratic,
It's hard to say what he'll do. He's always been unpredictable,
defiant.
prone to making impulsive decisions. But his actions have consequences, and those consequences are piling up.
And it's not just about him. His words affect a lot of people.
His fans, his family, society as a whole. It's
Yeah.
easy to get caught up in the drama and forget that there are real people impacted by all of this.
He has children,
Ex-partners, friends.
all caught in the crossfire. And then there are all the fans who have been inspired by him. His music.
His creativity.
It's sad. Even most talented people
Most successful people.
can struggle with their own demons.
Then the choices they make, especially when they have a platform, can have far-reaching consequences.
It's a lot to process.
Before we wrap up, I want to go back to something you said earlier about Kanye's increasingly erratic behavior. You mentioned warning signs.
There have been a number of incidents.
Yeah.
Looking back, you can see that something wasn't right. His outbursts,
His bizarre statements.
embracing conspiracy theories.
So this wasn't just a sudden meltdown.
I don't think so.
It's been building.
Seems like it.
Makes you wonder if people around him saw it. His agency, friends, family.
It's likely they saw the warning signs. But what did they do about it? Did they try to intervene, offer support, or did they just look the other way?
It's tough. Hard to know what the right thing to do was.
It's a reminder that we have a responsibility to each other,
Yeah.
especially when someone is clearly struggling.
Absolutely. Mental health is just as important as physical health.
We need to be more open about it, seeking help when we need it.
There's still so much stigma.
So much stigma.
Prevents people from getting help.
We're so quick to judge, to criticize.
But not as quick to be understanding.
Our culture glorifies success, wealth, but doesn't acknowledge the pressure that comes with it. And when someone like Kanye, who has all of that, starts to come apart.
It makes us face those uncomfortable truths.
It does.
Maybe that's the silver lining in all this. Kanye's struggles are so public.
Maybe it can help destigmatize mental health issues, encourage people to seek help.
It's tragic, but maybe it can lead to some positive change.
I hope so. We need a culture where it's okay to not be okay,
Where people can ask for help.
without fear of judgment, shame.
It goes beyond just mental health, though. It's about creating a society where we're more understanding, more compassionate
To each other,
toward each other, no matter our differences.
or our struggles.
We have to move away from that cancel culture mentality towards something more nuanced,
That allows for growth, redemption.
holding people accountable, but recognizing that people can change.
It's a balancing act.
It's a conversation we need to have. Maybe this Kanye situation can be a starting point for that.
Yeah.
It's messy, it's complicated, but it's a powerful reminder.
Of our shared humanity.
We're all flawed, we all make mistakes.
The important thing is how we learn from them, how we move forward.
So we've covered a lot of ground today. Kanye's rant, the consequences, social media, mental health. It's a lot.
It is. These issues are complex. There are no easy answers, no simple solutions.
But there's hope.
Always.
There's always potential for change, for growth, for healing. That's a good point. It's easy to lose sight of that when you're surrounded by so much negativity. I like that. So is there one final thought? Something provocative our listeners can walk away with to really ponder?
You know, I think the biggest takeaway here is that Kanye, he's a microcosm of the challenges we face in this digital age. We're all trying to figure out this whole social media thing.
Right.
It's so powerful.
It can be used for good.
It can be used for bad,
It can connect us.
but it can also amplify hate.
It's like a double-edged sword.
We have to confront these questions about free speech and responsibility.
What does it mean to have a platform?
Whether it's big or small, we all have one now. What kind of online world do we want?
That's the challenge. We all have to answer that.
Yeah, the answer lies within each of us.
I like that. We went deep today exploring this Kanye story.
We did.
Hopefully you'll learn something new.
Be in some perspective.
Thanks for joining us. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning,
And keep striving for a better world.
both online and off.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I